one of my biggest challenges at this point is going out in public with our kids because when they see something, they're not going to tell the person, but they have to tell me
Yeah.
no matter
And we
what.
told them, tell us you have to say something, but they do it in such a way it's incredibly obvious what's
Yeah,
happening.
like as soon as they see somebody in a weird situation or a compromised situation, or somebody immediately going to be like, "Dad, Dad, Dad, I gotta tell you something, Dad." And it's like, I'm like, wait till we're in the car, and they're like, "Dad," and it's just a nightmare, absolute nightmare,
It's
especially with our 5-year-old because he is the most observant person
I've
I've ever met in
never.
my
He'll
life.
come in a room at like his parents' house and be like, "Did you move that picture on the wall?" And she's like, "Yes. How did you know?" Yeah, very observant, and they don't follow the social mores of like even in a friendly place. Like you don't stare at people for stuff. I'm always telling them just don't stare at people. They stare at just totally regular situations. They just are staring so hard. I'm like, we have to break. That's like the natural inclination, and we can't do our natural thing when you go out. It's like don't look at
Yeah, they
people.
have to learn how to stare the way I do, where it's like just kind of out of the side of your eye, like
I just put on my sunglasses, and I know they can see my eyes, but I look through it anyway. Yeah, it's. I feel like the kids are super challenging with that, and just seeing the difference, and how like you may try to avoid the uncomfortable situation of alerting people of stuff, but the kids will do it for you.
yeah. Yeah, my grandpa Romero was like that too, even though he was not a kid. And it was kind of awesome, it was kind of terrible because you'd see somebody with like a real weird situation, you'd think, how did they get into that situation? But no normal person's gonna ask.
Yeah.
But my grandpa would. He would just walk over, hey brother, why you in whatever crazy situation, like what happened to you? And the person would open right up and tell you all about it. But I don't have that in me. I can I can't go and like just start a conversation with someone in general, and it
Yeah.
definitely can't be a conversation started about a weird thing you've got going on, like Kleenex stuck to your glasses.
I don't know. I think it's a good story. You're gonna end up with a good story. Daniel has had, he may not go up to other people, but he has had people just come up to him. Like he always has people just randomly come up to him. Can you tell him about the most insane one? This story actually
Which
freaks me
one?
out. The one about your birthday. That
That
this
was really
story
weird.
is, I can verify it because he was so shaken when it happened. He had to like call me at
That
work.
was very disturbing. So yeah, people come up to me, but it's not just regular people. Like it's only crazy people.
Very
Crazy people
disenfranchised
will
people.
find me. I think we've talked about that before on here, but like
I'm sure we
from
have.
across any room, if there's a crazy person
Yeah.
there, the second I show up, they're on high alert. They find me and they're doing everything they can to get to me. So back when I was a repo man, I was walking from my office store thing to the dollar store to get a drink on my lunch break. And there was this park bench between the buildings. And there was a very like weird, overweight, dirty old man, like very dirty, incredibly dirty.
Do you think he was homeless?
I don't know if he was homeless, but he was very, very dirty. And like he was just staring into the sun. And it was a
This is
really
like killing
freaking
me.
hot day. And he was staring into the sun, no sunglasses on, and walking past. And he said, like, I know you. And I was like, I don't think so, man. Just keep walking. And he's like, oh, yes, I do. Your name's Daniel Romero. You were born. And he like had my birthday.
Like
And
the month, the date, and the year.
yeah, whole thing. And this wasn't, this was before like, all the horrible people finding websites and stuff. Like nobody even had iPhones. This
Yeah,
was
no,
like,
we had no iPhones at this point.
yeah, and this man certainly did not have an iPhone. He's never been on the internet. I can tell you that right now. He doesn't know it exists. Like he's just on a wavelength. Um, he's got a personal antenna into the spirit realm. But yeah, he had all these weird details and he didn't break eye contact with the sun the entire time. Like he never looked at me. He's just staring into the sun, full brightness, just rattling off these things. And I was so freaked out that I didn't want to walk past him again to get back from my lunch break. So I like walked all the way around all these buildings through like the shipping areas and stuff like that.
You weren't tempted to get some more information?
No, my dad always asked me that.
Oh,
He wanted
really?
to know if like why didn't I go back and get the information? And like in retrospect, I would kind of like to, but at the time, I was so unprepared for that information to be shared with me with the person who's presenting the way this man was presenting. And so I just didn't want anything to do with it. So I just skipped all the way around, and then I just kind of hid out for the rest of the day and just hoped I never saw the man again. And I never
You
saw
never-
him again
he saw
because he
you.
went back to hell, I think,
Yeah, no.
or wherever
Oh my gosh.
wherever spiritual realm he was from.
I have thought about this story so much because I know you don't know us, you don't know him, and you can say that's not true, that's whatever. But I remember everything about hearing about it and trying to make heads and tails of it, like trying to understand, and then coming to the point of like, okay, well maybe it was a weird spiritual thing. It's like, well, why would he give you the information you already have? Like he's gonna just tell you your birthday? Like that's the least
He was
interesting
trying to
thing.
get me to stop and talk to him about something. So maybe it was like, the tantalizing tidbit. So I would say, "How'd you know that?" And because I've been in your dreams, and
Oh my
I
gosh.
don't know, but yeah, super weird. Whatever his plan was, it didn't work because I stayed away from him. So I never got to find out what he was trying to get out of me or warn me about or whatever.
It's gonna give you the lottery ticket numbers.
He probably was going to warn me about how I was going to die, and
Oh my gosh.
now I don't know.
Well,
I could have been preventing it all this time.
I'm trying to think, what would I have done? I would have been scared, but I'm too curious about stuff like that, and I'm too friendly. So I would have been like, and when's your birthday? Because I don't know what to do. So I'm glad it happened to you.
It hasn't happened yet.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I don't know. That story has just always stuck with me. Just like again, going out into the world, interacting with people, and literally anything can happen when you go out your door. Any crazy thing like that happens. I saw a really bad thing happen when I was driving our kids to a camp this summer. Um I was driving and we were like on a road that was maybe 40 miles an hour. It was like a small town-ish road. And there's a sidewalk and there's always teenagers on skateboards all the time. And there was two boys, they were probably 17, 18. My 5-year-old was telling me it was a man, but I was like, it was like a teenager. And he fell off his skateboard so bad. Um, and like I saw it happening. I was like getting ready to break the car, but then I saw him like sheepishly get up and like wave to his friend that he was okay. But I felt so ashamed on his behalf for having had to do that in front of everybody. So I thought the best thing is probably just leave this kid alone because he got up and walked. But I keep thinking about that kid because I was like, if it was my kid, I'd want someone to stop. But I know that kid probably wouldn't have wanted me to say, "Are you?" Because it goes,
Yeah,
it's like, "Are you
the
okay?"
worst thing that can happen to you when you got hurt as a kid is for someone to ask you if you're okay.